Welcome to Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium. Tonight, the Jasper Wildcats, playing on Joe Rolleder Field, will play against the Evansville Central Bears. The Wildcats are 5-0 on the season and leading the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference, taking on a Bears team that stands at 1-4. Hello, everybody. I'm Craig Schneider, along with Bob Welp and Jeremy Marcos on the video. And Bob, we're taking on a Central team. Again, you know, they've had a lot of change over the years, even though there's been tremendous success at Central. I mean, they're averaging over 10 wins a season over about the last 4 or 5 years. And but the thing that's changed has really been their head coach. This senior class for Central is on their third head coach, and that is actually Andy Zirkelbach, who he spent like 9 years, and he was a defensive coordinator for Central when they went to the state finals back in 2018. He even was a head coach down at Princeton for a 4-year stint. And the past 2 years he was at Wright. So he comes back to Central to take over a program that's actually kind of in rebuilding mode. But I'll tell you what, their big win last week against Wrights, they won that game in triple overtime, and they were led by a freshman quarterback. His name's Ben Davies. He's number 14. He was 6 of 13 for 122 yards and 3 touchdowns, but showed a lot of poise and really threw a nice deep ball on a few of those touchdown passes.
But on the deep balls that he threw, he had time to throw. He had time to go back, time to set. One thing Jasper has shown this year is their ability to get penetration. We run the 3-3 stack defense just like Central does, so that's going to be an interesting comparison throughout the evening. But we always bring the linebackers from the weak side. Weak side being the side that the tight end lines up is usually the strong side. So when the ball is rotated towards the strong side, it's usually our inside linebackers and our outside linebackers from the weak side that stunt. We get pressure on him. The throws that I've seen him throw that were really, really good and really on point was when he was able to set up.
Right.
How is he gonna be able to throw the ball? How's his confidence gonna be because of his inexperience if he's always chasing towards the sideline?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, the Wildcat defense really likes to put pressure on the quarterback, and we saw that in the Wrights game. We saw that last week against Mater Dei. You know, again, it's just one of those situations where you're getting a young player who last week got his feet wet against a good Wrights football team and all that, and was able to come away with a big win. But I don't think he's really seen anything. Obviously, this is his second start, but I don't think he's quite – we'll find out, I guess, how he can stand up against a Wildcat pressure.
Well, we've still got Castle North and Vincennes at the end of the year, but none of these SIA teams seen anything like this Jasper team that's rolling out. I mean, this is old school. They can put in a little flash, but they are old school. It is consistency. Offensive line, defensive backs, offensive backs. It's been consistency. Wrights put up 4 turnovers to help Central get back in that game and eventually win it in overtime. Jasper, other than the Memorial game, really hasn't put the ball on the turf. A couple of times it went down, but we recovered, so we didn't lose the fumble. The consistency from Jasper has been excellent this year, and that's why they've had the success they've had.
And Coach Tony Lewis was actually mentioned, he felt like that this Wildcat team last week against Mater Dei really from the start to finish played a complete football game for the first time. And, that's the main thing is that you can't have a letdown. You can sit there and say, all right, Central 1-4, 0-4 going into last week and all that. And, again, they've a tough loss against Bosse, 36-34. Vincennes beat them in overtime 13-10. So, again, it's a rebuilding team. You got sophomores and a freshman quarterback and all that. So, again, we'll just see what the Wildcats experience can do against a program that's going to be playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores. All right, so the kickoff's right there inside the 5, straight up. And he's able to return that football to the 31-yard line. So a good return there, trying to see who actually had to return. And I think that was number 25 getting the return there, Landon Fleck.
Well, regardless of whether it's especially teams as we just witnessed there or whether it's the offensive linemen, the backs, Jasper's been very decisive this year. And they're not, oh my gosh, what should I do here? They know exactly what they need to do. They've been very decisive, get up in the bodies, and we just move the ball. Let's hope we can continue here.
All right, so the rush straight ahead, and there's an opening for Sheeter. So Sheeter leading the Wildcats in rushing this year with 67 carries, 400 yards even, and 8 touchdowns on the season.
You know, Sheeter comes in, they have him listed at 6'2", 211, but I swear, every time I see him, every game, it looks like he gets bigger, just like Foley. They're men.
Well, that's the thing. He's going to get a real workman-like effort tonight because Isaac Day is out. So Sheeter right there, he's an opening. He's going to get across the 50, and now he's going to go along the sideline. And he is brought down by Josh Boberg, who is actually the leading tackler on this football team. Last week he had 15 tackles against Wrights and 9 solo, but he had to save what could have been a touchdown run there.
It is one of the few times we've seen Sheeter show his ability to bounce the ball to the outside. Usually he's three yards in a cloud of dust. Well, in his case, 7-8 yards in a cloud of dust. But when he comes down, these defensive backs try to tackle him one-on-one. I wish them good luck.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, and this time Young's going to keep it, and he darts to the outside, sees an opening there before he's brought down at the 30-yard line. So this Wildcat rushing attack is just rolling right along on the season. 1,484 yards rushing and 20 touchdowns on 244 totes coming into tonight.
Well, anytime you talk about rushing, you've got to talk about Sheeter, you got to talk about Day, you got to talk about Young, Ewing, Giesler, what have you. But if you fail to mention Potts, Heichelbeck, Bauer, and Trevino and Hernandez, I mean, those are the guys. And looks like they're starting off the game just where they left off against Mater Dei.
All right, so Sheeter on the right side, and he is slowed up by number 22, Gavin Kelly. And Sheeter looks like he's shaken up a little bit. But again, Wildcats are going to be without the efforts of Isaac Day. He is actually on the sideline in a walking boot, just like Will Winesapple, who's missed the last few games. And actually with Day is on crutches down there. So hopefully that's not too serious.
Yeah, that would be a bad thing for the black and gold. Day is really important to this team. Of course, do it now. Get him healthy for postseason.
All right, so this time Grant's going to keep it, and he turns upfield. And he gets down to the 22-yard line, so a pickup of 4 on that play will set up a 2nd and 6.
Young and Ewing do a nice job of spacing on that pitch out. When you have that much spacing and you've got the defensive back that steps up because our offensive lineman's taking care of the guys on the backside, he has to make a decision. And they've got great spacing, so if he's right in the middle, Young will do what he did right there, turn it up and get 4.
All right, so they actually give it to Wallace. Wallace, Coach Lewis mentioned that he will probably get some work in that fullback position tonight, so he's getting his first carries of the season. So Will Wallace, a sophomore, 6'2", 210 pounds. And we've got a penalty actually on the Wildcats, so that will negate that point, and it's going to come back.
When we went up against Memorial, Jasper came out fighting from the very beginning. Next game we play Harrison. We're on defense, but we have the letdown and they have the big run. Bossy got a big run after a big win against Wrights. Well, we had a big win against Mater Dei. Now we're on offense, and our big mistake is that, Young did a nice job of getting us in 2nd down and half the distance. A mistake right there, which Coach Lewis explained to the guy that he was not happy, pushed us back.
All right, so Wallace is going to get it this time, and now he's able to get away as there was good penetration there by number 77, Jacob Griffith, but he was able to get away there and rush it to back to the 22, let's go call it 23-yard line there, so a pickup about 5.
Hernandez did a nice job of getting up into the legs, and even though there was contact that bounced Wallace out to the outside, Hernandez had enough of his body so where he could just reach up. And you're talking 210 pounds of man here. You're not going to pull him down with an arm.
And Wallace is getting the work because Sheeter is being treated on the sideline over here. But now he's got Foley if he can get it there. No, he actually finds underneath, and that's Ewing. And Ewing's able to get inside the 5. And they'll spot it at about the 2-yard line. So a nice pickup of 21 yards there.
Well, that's what I love so much about Connor Foley. Even when he doesn't get the ball, he attracts all this attention. The other guys, they play right into that, and they're like, Ewing's If you're going to take him, that's fine. Just see what I can do, and he pushed it all the way down to the 2.
So 21 yards on the first pass play for the Wildcats tonight. First and goal now from the 2. It's underway here. Jasper against Central. And Grant Young, yes, there you go. He's able to get it in. He slipped up a little bit when he made that turn, but was able to get across the goal line for the Wildcats' first score of the night.
What a luxury. You know, we talked about Winesapple when he got hurt. You bring in Young. Young does nothing but long runs, touchdowns like that. You know, the options you have. You have Day that's on crutches. You've got Sheeter that was dinged up. You bring in Wallace. There's an old saying out there, it's amazing how the rich get richer. And he's just bringing in one stud after another.
All right, so Leonard actually kind of gingerly kicked that ball through, but it went through. So Jasper leads 7-0 with 8:08 to go here in the first quarter here on 18 WJTS. First drive of the game for the Wildcats goes 69 yards. Finished off with a 2-yard run, but nicely set up with a 21-yard hookup to Cooper Ewing. So Grant Young having a great start to this football game, and actually a short kick is taken in around the 30, and he's going to run it out of bounds. That's Gavin Kelly, number 22, to about the 32-yard line. So, again, Central with their starting quarterback, freshman, 6'1", 160-pound Ben Davies. And Bob, he actually got that position because, again, Blake Hurdy's, who was the quarterback last year as a sophomore for the Central team. He's a junior this year, of course, and he actually had a shoulder injury and so sat out that game against Rice. I don't know how serious it is, but Davies getting his second start of the season, so we'll see if the Wildcats are able to get pressure on him right away. But actually, first rushing play goes for an opening on the right side there. That's Porter Rohde, and he is a sophomore who actually transferred from Westfield High School. So family must have moved down here to Southern Indiana, so he gets a start, and he's actually their leading rusher with 200 yards on the season.
Well, he'll have 200 yards tonight if he gets through the line like he did that time. They definitely controlled the line of scrimmage on that particular play. He was 4 yards before he got touched.
All right, so they give it to the left side this time, and that's Gavin Kelly, and he's going to be close to that first down. Actually, I believe he got the 3 yards needed, so a 1st and 10 for the Bears. So they move the sticks with just 2 plays.
The one thing that I've noticed in the first 2 plays of Central's possession is their running backs have the ability to go from 0 to 60 very fast. So when we come in, if we're bringing our heat from our linebackers, we're going to have to get up into him. And when they run off to the outside, we got to stop them on that initial line of defense, because if they get past our linebackers, it could be a long night.
All right, so they run a bootleg, but there goes Beekler right at him, and so he actually overthrows there. Closest receiver is number 22, Gavin Kelly. So it falls incomplete. But, you know, again, that's the nice thing about our defensive line, particularly with Wallace. You got Potts, and then also Michael Beekler. A lot of quickness and athleticism that we've got in that front 3.
Yeah, and it also helps when you've got Kabrick and you've got Atkins back there and you've got Bear back there and you've got Albrand. I mean, Albrand's kind of like a vacuum. You throw the ball up, he usually chases it down. So it's good to have somebody like Albrand out there to take away at least, he can go one-on-one so we don't have to double team anybody.
Yeah, so Atkins is a sophomore. He's getting the start tonight in that safety position with Day out. So a run play right there for Rohde doesn't go for much.
That was a heck of a read by Schmidt. He got in there initially, made contact, and the guy started to spin away, but he didn't give up on the play. Stayed with him, got down into his legs, and dropped him for a short gain. This is what Jasper's defense has wanted to do with all their opponents this year. Get them in 3rd and long situations. 3rd and long is usually 3rd and 7 or more. Here we are sitting about 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
All right, so he splits Josh Boberg to the right side. He had a 34-yard reception last week, and it looks like they're trying to go to him now. And they actually get pressure on the quarterback, and he was able to get it away, but a good job by Wiseman to get right up there and force him to lose his footing. And Bears going to be looking at a 4th down. However, we got a flag right there at the 50-yard line. So position where that is, that might be a defensive holder. So no, it's an ineligible receiver downfield. So the Wildcats will.
We should be able to decline it, though,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
You know, they tried to go to Cooper out there in the flat, but we brought up, you know, Cale Schmidt on that one play where he came in and hit. But Ewing, on that particular one, when we had pressure coming in through Cale Schmidt's area, Ewing was right there on the guy. So even though he threw a nice soft pass out in the flat, it had no shot. And even if Cooper brings that in, Ewing's there to drop it.
All right, so Stephen Pritchett is back to punt. Looks like the Wildcats are dropping back number 20, Braylon Bear, to receive it.
Well, we know he's got hands. You know, all you got to do is step back to the Rights game where he had those 2 pick sixes. First one, you know, like I had mentioned before, was kind of to him, but he did what he was supposed to do. And that second one was every bit as pretty as the one that Albran laid down last week against Mater Dei.
All right, so the Bears, actually another penalty called on him here is movement or some sort of shift on the line there before they even got set to punt it. So they go back 5, and oh boy, closely getting there is number 22, Cale Schmidt. And a very weak punt.
Well, even with Schmidt not getting the block, what he did force was the punter to change his angle, and the ball goes straight up instead of out.
All right, so the Wildcats will have great field position here. They already got a score on the board, 7-0. They lead with 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And, you know, again, this Central team, like I mentioned, you know, been winning 10-plus games. I mean, they've won or had a share of the SIAC 4 times in their nice stretch that they've had over the last 5 years. Went to a state championship back in 2018. But, boy, they have just really been the Wildcats' nemesis, knocking them out of the tournament. And
he just carries people.
So Sheeter back in action, so that's good news there for the Cats as he's able to gain 4 yards right there to the 50-yard line.
He's a bulldozer. He goes in there. He had not only one guy wrapped around his hips, I mean literally did the wrap, and he had 2 other guys on his shoulders, and you see him dropping down about the 48, not so much. Now he moves it up on just on the other side of the 50. Just impressive.
All right, so actually Wallace is back there now. So again, they continue to look at Sheeter on the sideline over here, but Wallace, no, actually Grant Young keeps it there. So Young pulls it out and rushes it for a first down as he's able to gain 7 on that yard. So the Wildcats now in Central territory at the 43-yard line.
Who's ever at the quarterback position for Jasper, of course, tonight is Young, whether it was Weinzapper early or when Holdsworth came in. Because we are so effective of running between the tackles, eventually every team so far that we played in the SIAC shoots the middle, which gives Young or the quarterback, whoever it is, the little out.
All right, Young keeps it this time, finds his pitch man, and Ewing kind of made a move there initially, but then was able to get away and comes up with a nice pickup there. Number 22 on the stop was Gavin Kelly. So he rushes that football to the 38-yard line, so it'll set up a second down.
So
we'll call it 2nd and 5 from there.
As we've talked about on defense, keeping them Central in 3rd and long situations, Jasper's goal is to get in 2nd and short, because if you get in 2nd and short, you've got the pass and you've got the run. Either one of them will work well in this type of situation.
Look at Wallace, man, just plowing right forward there. So the sophomore gets the 6 yards needed. So a 1st and 10 for the Wildcats now at the 32-yard line.
Wallace got knocked off balance 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, but was able to get his right hand down and gain his balance a little bit. But once he started to go down for sure, he just dug those cleats in the turf and launched himself and picked up an extra 3.
All right, so 1st and 10 for the Cats. 4:03 to go here in the first quarter. 7-0's the score. And they give it straight up, and it's like a Sheeter back in action there with the run.
Well, if you're watching this broadcast, pay attention from this point on. Because of our success between the tackle, you are now starting to see their defensive backs and their cornerbacks really start to hug that line of scrimmage. When that happens, Jasper's very effective on the rollout with Young, and he's also really good at just dumping it over the top to Foley, just sliding in right behind the linebackers.
Well, they're obviously monitoring Sheeter as they put Wallace back in. Now Wallace gets it, and he plows forward, but he is met right away by number 54, Christopher Yeadon.
A couple of good stops by the Central defense, but they're starting to bite a little bit too hard. But now that we're in a 3rd and medium, well, 3rd and 7, so a kind of a 3rd and long situation, you know, people would think, well, this is without question a passing down. Well, not so much this deep into the field, because now you're looking at, you know, 4-down territory.
All right, so Sheeter is back in the backfield. He's got a slot split out there with Albrand. That's Giesler. So Sheeter on the right side, and he is going to be close to that 1st down marker there, because the yard to gain was the 23-yard line, and he might be just a little bit shy. Well, actually, the way they spot it, nope, that is a 1st down. So the Wildcats' rushing attack continues to move those sticks.
As I said in pregame, consistency. This is what Jasper's done every single game. And to me, one of the most impressive things about it, the teams know exactly what they're going to do, and it doesn't matter. The offensive line is just controlling everybody right now.
All right, so Grant's going to keep it this time, and he turns upfield there. Boberg in on the stop. So he gets across the 20 down to the 19, so we'll call it a pickup of 4.
Well, they had Boberg come out. When we had talked earlier about the guy having to make a decision to go to Young or go to Ewing or Giesler, whoever it is, whoever the pitch man is. But they also brought Roberts up from the deep spot to take the pitch man. So now it was one-on-one either way they went, and that's why we only got what we got.
All right, so Young keeps it this time. It just turns right upfield, and he took a pop there right at the 15-yard line. Got to get to the 14 for a 1st down, so it's going to set up a 3rd down situation, 3rd and 1.
I'll tell you what, coming in at 165 pounds and running hard up through the middle and being met by about 196 pounds, you're right, he took a shot. But, yeah, Grant Young did what all players need to do. They just need to bounce up. You don't need to taunt. You don't have to mouth off. Just kind of roll back in and say, is that all you got? And Young will bring that effort and more next time around.
All right, so we got a penalty flag sitting right there at the 10-yard line, and they're saying an unsportsmanlike conduct by the Bears. So that's going to give the Wildcats the 1st down yardage, and even then some. So they're going to have the distance down to about the 7-yard line.
Jasper's moving the ball easy enough. It's got to drive the coach crazy over there on the Central sideline, saying, you know, we can't stop them on the dives. Now we're giving them free yards. Your opportunity for success is not going to be there if you do that.
Actually, Central's going to call a timeout. So with 1:18 to go, Jasper leading 7-0, looking to score again here in the 1st quarter on 18 WJTS. All right, so the Wildcats, 1st and goal inside the 8 is where the football is spotted, but now the officials stop and play again here, so not sure what this is all about.
Sideline.
Sideline warning now on the Bears, so Central coaching staff was not very happy during that timeout there, trying to get an explanation of what the call was, but so the Wild. Ooh, there's an inside counter. Oh, he's gonna. Whoa! Now I was gonna say untouched, but I think that was Ewing actually took that inside play. It looked like he was gonna have an easy prance into the end zone, but he was stopped right there at the 2.
A big shout out to Yeadon on that one. He was battling 2 guys and was able to shed those and get into Ewing to bring him down. Because when Ewing first made that cut, You know, I was with you. It looked like he was going to run right into the tee there in the end zone. But Yeadon did a nice job of bringing him down.
All right, so you just give it to Sheeter for the easy 2-yard score. So the Wildcats on the board again, leading 13-0.
Well, you bring Young, you bring Giesler, you bring Ewing. Very good players. All players run hard. But you'll stand up and you'll take them. Sheeter comes through there. You just kind of step back and show him the way. The only thing they're missing is the little orange lights that you see in the airport, just guiding him in.
All right, so Leonard out there to kick the extra point. He has been outstanding all season long and actually had a nice field goal kick last week against Mater Dei, but he pops that one through again. So Jasper 14, Central nothing here on 18 WJTS. 40 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Jasper with 2 touchdowns on the board already, and again continue with that straight up kick. And so the Bears will start at the 29-yard line for their second possession of the football game.
Well, you may look out there and say, oh, they started on the 30 and now they're starting on the 29. They've got decent, starting position, which is true. But as soon as they're touching the ball, the guy caught the ball like on the 20-yard line, and we dropped him right away. Now, this is absolutely intentional. If anybody out there would be thinking that it's not, the way he tees the ball up is on its side, so it's definitely a tee up for the squib kick.
Right. All right. Give us the right side. And nothing there as the Wildcats were able to get penetration into the backfield. And actually, it looks like Potts is now shaken up. My goodness, our 2 top defensive players. Although Sheeter's out there, and he looks like he's walking around well, but now you got Potts, who also one of the mainstays on that offensive line for the Wildcats. Gimps off the field there.
Well, you bring out Potts at 218. You put in Foley, who comes in at 220. So, like I said, a luxury.
All right, so that's the end of the first quarter. Jasper 14, Central 0 here on 18 WJTS. All right, so Central comes back onto the football field, again led by their freshman quarterback, Ben Davies. Wildcats were able to get good pressure on him in the first series of downs, but if he can get that ball up in the air, he's got some really good receivers, including Luke Pokerny, who had 2 receptions last week for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns in that win over Wrights, including the game winner.
The problem from him is just what's happened just on that last play. If you can't run the ball, it's going to be like Mater Dei, and we're just going to tee off.
All right, so a tackle for loss there as Foley was able to quickly get in the backfield and knocks him back for about a 4-yard loss. So sets up a 3rd and 13 from the 26-yard line.
I've kind of talked about this till I've been blue in the face about Foley's size and all that. But he is extremely fast out of his stance.
Again, the Wildcats with 3 down linemen. There's a pass right up the middle, and again, he had some time to throw there, and good timing right there to hook up with number 34, Isaiah Cooper. And Central's got their first down of the game.
Well, it's a good play design. They ran him up the seam, kind of came in the middle, seeing how our defensive backs were playing. They put him in the shotgun so he doesn't have to drop back, because as soon as he plants his foot to throw, the black and gold's right there in his face. So he caught the ball. The guy caught it like 13, 14 yards down the field, but he released it when he was at like 4 yards.
Right.
So they let him perfectly, and he's getting it out quick so we can't hit him.
So 15-yard hookup, 1st and 10 for Central on the 43. Now they pitch it to the outside, and Cats are able to contain everything there to keep him from turning upfield. So early on, Porter Rhodes having a tough time out there.
When I have discussions with people about the Jasper defense, you had, I think it was Wiseman that came out to make the hit. But whoever, whether it's Beekler, whether it's Foley, whether it's Potts, whoever makes the hit, he's coming up off the ground, but you're always seeing 4 and 5 black jerseys right there. Their pursuit is awesome, which means the running back can't plant his foot and cut back to the backside.
So 2nd down and 10.
Here we come from the far side.
Well, they hand off, and I think he had a tough time handling that football. Gavin Kelly, but gains nothing on the play as Foley again in on the stop, and now he kind of bounced up like he might be injured now.
Well, it's a little chillier tonight on most of the nights that we've played, so, you know, little hits. Even though it's not what I would consider cold, it is a little chillier. And sometimes when you get those face masks or pads right on your skin, you know, it kind of stings a little bit, but these guys have been able to bounce up and get right back in there.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful weather tonight for this football game. About 72 degrees at kickoff. So now a 3rd and long situation for the young freshman quarterback. Yep, and so again, he was trying to get rid of it quickly because the Cats are right after him, and there's Wiseman in the backfield again. So just can't quite time it right with his receiver like he did on the previous completion, so it's an incomplete pass and a 4th down.
Well, you had 2 receivers that were within 4 yards of each other. I would say one probably had to do a skinny post and the other one had to do a deep post. But there was absolutely nothing there. Cabrick was in front. You had Allbrand in the back. It was all shut down.
All right, so a low punt. It's going to be an out. Actually, it didn't quite take a bounce once it hit the ground there. Thought it might be an opportunity for Bear to get a return. So Bear getting the punt return duties since Isaac Day is out of this football game tonight with a foot injury on the sideline. And crutches, kind of like bye-bye Miss America Pie on the sideline in a cast.
Yeah, I get you.
We'll see if the marching band will yield at halftime, right? All right, 14-0, Jasper. 3rd possession, 9:04 to go here in the 2nd quarter.
Well, you know, if we go down and put another 7 points on the board, you could talk about Don McLean all you want.
Actually, Brent Chanley sent me a picture of a Don McLean guitar that was for sale. He's down in Nashville right now and made me think of it. So, all right, so a false start on the Wildcats, so they will have to back 5 there.
That's one
Push
thing
back
that
to
will,
the 24.
That's one thing that that will not sit well with Coach Lewis. He always preaches, you know, don't get complacent, come out, start the game, you know, from the very get-go, finish it to the very end. But if you start to get a lead and it feels like you're controlling the game, which it definitely feels like Jasper's controlling it to this point, and you start getting lazy and doing those silly penalties right there, Coach Lewis will come unhinged.
All right, so they run that inside counter this time, and actually good read there by the Central Bears. Number 34 making the stop is Isaiah Cooper.
Boy, you're not whistling Dixie, because when he came through there, he had a whole bunch of black shirts in front of him, and Cooper did a nice job of knifing in and bringing him down. That was an excellent defensive play.
So we'll call it a gain of 2 there. 2nd down and 13. Football at the 26-yard line. 8:31 to go. Jasper up 14-0 here in the 2nd quarter.
Well, if we put the ball in the air, I figure this would be it.
And we're going to run the bootleg there. Chucks it out there and throws it behind Ewing. I mean, obviously with that bootleg pass, you're looking to go long either to Foley there or underneath the Giesler, but you've got 13 running that hidden route, but he just kind of threw behind him, so it falls incomplete. 3rd down.
Boy, it's a good thing he got his right mid on that ball, because Kasinger, number 6, was sitting there waiting for the ball to come right in his breadbasket. You know, and that's what you teach these receivers from a very young age up. You're the offensive player, but if it looks like there's could be a possibility of an interception, you become the defensive player. And he did a nice job of getting his hand on it.
So a passing situation here on 3rd and 13. The Cats run from a shotgun, and now they run that pass play over to Foley, and he's able to break a couple tackles, spins away, still on his feet across the 45, all the way to the 48-yard line. So a pickup of 22.
I can imagine the speech at halftime when the players go up to the coach And they say, okay, coach, we've hit him high, we've hit him low, we've hit him in the hips, we've hit him in the chest, and he still doesn't seem to come down. Do you have any more suggestions?
The Cats have been running that play to perfection pretty well all season long. 22 yards on a 3rd and 13, 1st and 10 now, and now Young keeps it running to the short side, and he is knocked out of bounds there by number 22, Gavin Kelly. Gets into Central Territory right at about the 48-yard line, a pickup of 4.
Well, that was a really nice read by Young because, like you alluded to, they came to the short side of the field. If he pitches it out to Giesler, Giesler's got absolutely nowhere to go. So, you know, at that particular time where it looks like they've got through our blocking scheme, just lower your head and get what you can get, and it looks like he only picked up 3.5 to 4 yards.
So 2nd down and 6. Jasper up 14-0. Ewing in motion. Now they're going to run the inside counter. This time to Giesler. Giesler's got the open, but the ball falls down, and I think they're going to say he was down.
He was absolutely down.
All right, so he did hit the turf there, and the ball popped out. So Jasper will hang on to possession and get the first down there as he rushes it to the 39, so a pickup of 9 on that run.
Well, when you come through, everybody looks out there and they say, well, his knee wasn't down. Well, when you get your legs taken out like that, and he came down with his arm and his forearm and all that rolled over the ground, you know, he's down at that point when your momentum is just dead.
All right, so this time Wallace gets it on the left side, and the Wildcats working that left side on the last few plays. And, of course, it's where Mateo Hernandez, the left tackle, and the left guard, Gus Heichelbeck. And I want to give a shout-out to Gus's grandpa, Pete Heichelbeck, who enjoys our telecast on Saturday mornings. So hope you're doing well there, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely. Best wishes.
Okay, so a 2-yard pickup on that play sets the football at the 37-yard line. 6:47 on the clock here in the first half. Allbrand split way to the right side over there, and he's picked up by number 10, Stephen Pritchett. Young's looking for him. All right, so breaking across the middle there on the post play, but was not able to hook up with Allbrand, so it falls incomplete, stops the clock at 6:35. We'll set up a 3rd and 8.
Just a little bit of miscommunication. Now, we've seen what Allbrand can do in the defensive backfield, how he chases most things down. He actually made that one look fairly close when it shouldn't have been. That ball was definitely too far to the inside. But, he, you know, when he was running his slender post, he actually brought it up even closer and darn near got there.
All right, so Ewing is in a slot to the right side. Gonna roll to the right side, and he chucks it across the middle, and that's Foley. Foley hurdles over one player, and what a play, because it was able to get him the first down yardage as he's able to get down to the 25-yard line. So a pickup of 12 on a 3rd and 8.
I guess we're getting to the point to where I guess, you know, it's common knowledge, everybody knows it, but instead of saying his size and how strong is, he's very athletic.
Absolutely.
You and I, during the last game, it was the game against Bosse, where he had the flag to come down, but the way he went up over the guy to catch it.
Right.
But it didn't never see the stat book because of the flag.
All right, so the Wildcats can get back to power football straight up as Wallace on the left side there. And he gets a chunk of yardage, pickup of 8 there.
That just lets you know how good Day and how good Sheeter is. Because you've got Wallace stepping in right there. He took a shot, but he does everything that a running back's supposed to do. Keep those knees up to your chest so somebody just can't reach up and kind of foot trip you. We call it the turf monster.
Oh, yeah.
Keeps those knees up and drives. And here, once again, as we have been all season, 2nd and short.
So, again, this Wildcat offense averaging almost 300 yards per game. Just rolling right down the field, and Wallace gets the necessary 2 yards for the first down. So the Wildcats 1st and 10 now inside the 15 at the 14-yard line.
And things don't get much easier for Central. Not only are they still going to see Heichelbeck and Hernandez and all those guys up there, now they've got Sheeter coming at them. It's almost got to be a nightmare scenario for a defensive coordinator.
Of course, the Wildcats have moved up to number 3 in the rankings, both in the coaches poll and the media poll coming into tonight's football game. So their 5-0 record is not going unnoticed statewide, as Sheeter is upended by number 6, Jordan Cassinger, but not before he is able to gain 6 yards.
Although a tremendous gain on first down with Sheeter, the way he popped it out on this near side and got out to the outside and got extra yards. I'd have liked to seen him try to get to the sidelines. He definitely has the speed and the agility to do it.
4:23 on the clock. Jasper up 14-0, looking to make it 21. Young keeps it, cuts inside. Can he get to the end zone? I think he's just going to be a yard short there. Kind of fell on his backside there before he was able to get across the goal line, so they'll spot it right there at the 1. So,
boy, it sure looked like he got in there, but you know, I think we'll be all right with a first down in 6 inches. I think we've got a couple of players that might be able to get this in.
Simply call this a 1-yard plunge, and we'll see if Sheeter or Grant Young take it in. They give it to Sheeter, and he easily gets it in for the touchdown. Oh, wait, no, they're saying he's short. Okay, I thought when he turned in there he was in the black, but my bad. All right, so Sheeter's not able to get the 1-yard plunge, so now you bring in Wallace.
Well, you had Garris come up and made a touchdown-saving tackle right there, and you would expect that from your senior. But, you know, that's 5'9", 180 going up against like 211. So, you know, he did a nice job getting low.
All right, so the Cats spread the field with Ewing and Albrand. But this time the quarterback, he's going to lower his head and just tuck into that opening and gets it on the left side for the touchdown. So Jasper, 3 possessions tonight, 3 touchdowns on the board, 20-0 with 3:02 to go here in the first half.
You know, when you look at that quarterback sneak, it's as simple as it looks. You just go up to the 5 guys up front and say, move them.
Yes.
And that's all they do, and he just follows them. Yeah, he got his name in the paper. Yeah, he got the points. But it's that offensive line taking those white shirts and pushing them in the end zone.
All right, so the Wildcats do it with mostly the run, but 2 good pass plays going to Connor Foley on that drive as Leonard pops it right through for the 21st point. So Jasper 21, Central 0 with 3:02 to go here in the first half on 18 WJTS. Sam Leonard's got it teed up. Another kick straight ahead, fielded at the 25. And good coverage coming downfield for the Wildcats. I think that was McGimsey, number 6, making the stop there. So the senior in on special teams.
Well, he was trying to get out to the sidelines, but Leinebach came up and did a nice job of shutting it down to where he couldn't bounce it out. And then McGimsey just comes in and cleans up. So, you know, the way these guys play together, whether we're talking specialty teams because they've gotten a lot better, or offense or defense, you can't just talk about one guy. It's, you know, it's Albrand one day, it's Bear one day, it's Potts one day. It's just amazing.
Oh, no doubt. Just nothing there for Rode. We actually got a penalty flag right there at the 32-yard line. We'll see what this is. But yeah, the impressive thing on the Wildcats' last drive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different players had touches on that drive. All right, so the face mask penalty is going to move it up. It's the 5-yard variety there, so actually a spot foul, so it must have been in the backfield there because only advances at 4 yards, so it'll be first and 6 from the 41.
You know, I'm going to get on my soapbox real quick. A face mask is either 15 yards or not. I mean, if you're going to just accidentally reach up and brush across, look at all the stiff arms these running backs do that they grab the defensive face mask, you know, and they, oh, well, it's a stiff arm. No, he's got his fingers locked. So if you're not twisting the head, do not call the face mask.
All right, we're hearing a lot of whistles before this next snap here. Actually, it was the far side line judge who came running up there to talk to the official. Well, I guess the only two people that know what that was all about were those two. So now here we go.
Well, somebody was making supper plans.
Inside counter, and oh man, read nicely. Trying to see if that was Wiseman. Popped right in there and just blew that play up in the backfield, Bob.
Yeah, but we brought heat. And when we brought heat, the one thing that Jasper's doing is when our linebackers are stunting, is what I mean by bringing heat. The timing that them and the down linemen have, the down lineman goes in the 2-hole, the heat comes, and they jump in the 4-hole. We had two guys jump up and take care of, was it Giesler that came in and turned them right in, and we just had them for lunch.
All right, so a second down play. Well, actually this time Rowe does find an opening, and he jumps over Bear, who was trying to get him to go out of bounds, but he eventually lands out of bounds, and that will stop the clock with 1:23. But he's able to get the yardage for the first down.
Well, the big thing Jasper's trying to do is definitely keep Central off the board. Now, they've burned one timeout, and I think more just because the coach wanted to know what the heck that unsportsmanlike penalty was. But you burn that one. You know, even if they get a first down, if it's third down and short or third down and long, we're making them use this clock.
We'll stop right now with 1:23 on the out-of-bounds run there, but Rowe gets it to the left side, and he is shoestring tackled there by Cabrick, where he's able to break away, but he picks up 4 on that run. 1:12, 1:11, clock running.
Yeah, Central's just. I was surprised that they didn't use a timeout there.
Yeah, because we're inside a minute now.
Well, you got to think that somewhere in here a deep out or a deep seam is coming. And we brought heat. The last 4 plays, we brought heat from the backside. And let's see where they bring it again this time, or do they drop back in coverage? Here we come.
He's just going to heave it to the sideline. That's Allbrand waiting on it, and he picks it off. So basically just threw it out there for Boberg. And we got a penalty flag because popping up was Boberg. He said something to Allbrand there, so he threw his hat up in the air, so I assume this is going to be a penalty on Central. But, yeah, Allbrand pretty well just held his position over there, and actually we got an injury right at midfield. I think that might be number 22, Gavin Kelly. He's on the turf right now on his back, but.
You know, Allbrand does such a nice job of when that's coming back, putting his body in a position to where he can not only see the receiver, but he gets peripheral vision, he can see that quarterback, and when he goes through his motion, and he just sits out there, and I just don't understand why you constantly throw his way. I appreciate that they throw his way,
yeah,
but I just don't understand it. The guy just chases down everything.
Well, we actually got 2 penalty flags. One is out here on the 45-yard line. So that's closer to the original line of scrimmage there. The second one was thrown obviously after the interception. But the same official threw both flags, so that was the line judge on the far side over there.
See if they're possibly offsetting or maybe an illegal man downfield, which is what that call is.
So both of them are going to go against Central, I believe. Unsportsmanlike against Central there, so Jasper will get possession of the football. Well, they called it both ways, so I guess Allbrand must have popped off too.
Well, if I don't like it when my player retaliates, because usually it's the second guy that gets caught, but he got both of them because it was only those 2 over there. But if you're going to do it and you're going to get called, we're up 3 touchdowns, so you can talk to him. You should be a little happier with it, though.
All right, so obviously you Cats will get the football here. So the penalties that were after the play will offset. So Jasper will have the football, 1st and 10, right there at the 16-yard line with 34 seconds. And actually spotted at the 17-yard line. But, yeah, I would think that the Wildcats will probably just run the clock out here and go into halftime with a 21-0 lead.
Boy, you would think. You know, this is kind of like coaching 101. You know, you look at the analytics and all that, and what do? But, boy, I tell you what, sometimes Coach Lewis has got that gunslinger mentality. And so far this year, he's been on point. So you'll get no arguments. But 21-0, unsportsmanlike conduct. I think he wants to settle the guys down, get their head back in the game. So
right.
It would not surprise me to see Young, bite the dirt on this one.
All right, so the Cats will have possession of the football at the 17-yard line. Sheeter in the backfield. They give it to him on the left side. And Boberg makes the tackle there. But he's able to get across the 20 to the 23-yard line. And I think the Cats are just going to let it run out. So 19 seconds on the clock there. We're running down. And the Wildcats, with a very impressive first half, did what they wanted to do defensively. Again, getting after the young freshman quarterback and forcing him to throw quickly if he was able to get any passes off at all. But, again, we saw Beekler with good pressure there. A couple times with Winesapple getting after him as well. And then we're able to pick him off. So yeah, I think it's just a situation Central offensively with a young quarterback. It's just the Wildcat defense are doing what they want to do.
Well, during our last defensive possession, we brought heat almost every single time. And sometimes whenever you see the quarterback drop back or you see something and you read it, that's when you charge in. These guys are already moving before the ball snaps. So this is a 100% full-fledged stunt.
Right.
And we have gotten in so fast that the guys that are blocking Wiseman, the guys that are blocking Potts, they've got to release because this guy's shooting by. And when you do that, that's no good for your quarterback.
Right.
Because then you got Potts putting him in the turf.
Oh, yeah.
So, just great team offense, defense, specialty teams. Just every guy out there playing for each other, and you can't ask for anything more if you're a coach.
Well, it's continuing to work for the Wildcats, and that's why they're enjoying a 21-0 lead here at halftime. So we'll take a break. It's Wildcat football here on 18 WJTS. We're at halftime. The Jasper Wildcats lead the Central Bears 21-0, and just kind of taking a look at the Wildcats scoring in this first half. Had the football first and started from the 31-yard line, went 69 yards on 8 plays, 7 runs, and 1 pass play, which was a 21-yard hookup from Grant Young to Cooper Ewing. But saw a lot of Sheeter in there, and Young with a couple runs, and Wallace getting his first chance to carry the football tonight with Isaac Day out in the football game. And so he's playing some fullback offensively. Of course, we see him on the defensive line all season. So Jasper with a 2-yard touchdown run by Grant Young made it 7-0 after the Sam Leonard kick. Then Central had the football, and they actually went about 5 plays there before they punted it away to the Wildcats. They did get a first down on the drive, but then the Wildcats had the football at the 46-yard line, went 54 yards on 11 plays, all runs, and scored on a 2-yard touchdown run by Ashton Sheeter. And Leonard, as he does, kicked it through the uprights. Central again had to punt away to the Wildcats after their next possession, and the Wildcats then went 71 yards in a second quarter drive that went 13 plays with 11 runs and 2 pass plays. And those 2 pass plays were actually included, or both went to Foley. So Grant Young was able to hook up with him on a 3rd and 13 for 22 yards. And then on a 3rd and 8, Foley with a nice little hurdle over the defender there and was able to get 12 yards on that play, and it eventually finished off with a 1-yard touchdown run by Grant Young there. And the impressive thing on that drive, Bob, is that you had Ewing, Young, Giesler, Foley a couple times, Wallace, Sheeter. So 7 different players actually touched the football in those 13 plays. And so that's the thing with the Wildcats, especially when you lose a player like Isaac Day for the football game tonight, you got to rely on other players, and everybody's been pretty well stepping up all night.
It is, without question, one of the most complete Jasper teams I've seen in a long time. Offense, defense, like you said, 7 guys, contributed. Defense, we've got 5, 6, 7 different guys contributing. As anybody that's had anything to do with coaching, no matter whether it's been at the 7th, 8th grade level, JV, freshman, it doesn't matter. When you see a team play with this type of unity and go out and well, let's be honest, they've taken Central to the woodshed in the first half. But their team unity and everybody contributing, everybody playing for each other, it's just what you love to see.
And, of course, defensively, the Wildcats getting after it. Again, that was the plan, is to make this freshman quarterback really earn it. And, they basically held him to just 1 completion and also an interception that Auburn picked off right there late in the second quarter.
Well, I
the
would
Wildcats
think
were able to run it out for the final 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I would think that Central's going to have to put the ball up in the air a little bit more. And I think the Central coaches are going to go more with the setup of not having him roll out. Now, when it looks like he's rolling out, a lot of it's pressure, but, get him the ball and get it out of his hands quick.
All right, so we actually got, I think, an offsides on the Wildcats here on the kickoff there, as the penalty flag's right there at the 40-yard line.
Doing that squib, every once in a while, right before the guy gets it, it'll take a weird hop and maybe go down to the 20, the 25. If you're going to do this and have this type of mentality, so, it's hard for them to handle and the big play probably won't happen. Yeah, I know the ball comes up to the 40, but just kick it out of bounds. I mean, I know that sounds a little ludicrous, but our defense is so dominant.
Anyway.
It doesn't matter.
Why give them any chance? Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, though, because Leonard, outstanding kicker on extra points, and like I mentioned, kicked a field goal last week, and just kind of surprised he's not able to get it up in the air. So he actually turns upfield and kind of lost his footing there. Peter was right there to kind of force him up the field, but Aaron Garris returns that football to the 34-yard line. So, yeah, not much difference if you just, kick it out of bounds. Why not?
Yeah, and don't give yourself a chance of slipping down on the play. If he kept his balance when he bounced it back, he's probably still running. So we did force him back into traffic, and he had to alter his body, which threw his balance off. But, my Lord, if you're going to be going to the 34 or 35, just don't even give him a chance.
All right, so 1st and 10 for the Central Bears. Again, their freshman quarterback, Ben Davies, number 14, who was actually the Courier and Press Player of the Week last week, throwing those 3 touchdown passes in that triple overtime game. But, again, the running game's not there, the passing game's not there, and the Wildcat defense just getting after it. Michael Beekler and Potts getting into the backfield and forcing actually about a 2-yard loss on the play.
I will say this for Jasper. Just athletics, regardless of what our record's been over the years, you go out and you don't block well, and let's say it's Central on defense and they stop Jasper like that. When Jasper comes back up, they're still fighting the next time. It looks like Central's standing up. It looks like they want no part of anybody right now.
All right, so 2nd down and 11. Quick hitter there, but he actually has a drop to his knee, so it wouldn't have meant anything. So you might as well drop the pass there. That's Stephen Pritchett. They're just trying to get the ball out there to the outside to get some open space for Central to try to get something going, but not there. So now it's a 3rd and long.
Which is what we're trying to accomplish. So the more 3rd and longs we get at the end of the night, if we look at that number, if it's a high number, you know what the defense have done. But you got Albran, you got Cabrick, you got Bear over here. When they come up and they're going tight on these receivers, quarterback looks out, sees tight man-to-man. Then next time he looks out, we've bounced out 7 yards. These guys are really playing well. Really understands the game.
All right, so the penalty flag is actually, looks like a delay of game, I believe. The back judge threw it, so yeah, it's going to be a delay of game against Central. So the problems continue for the Central football team. And so again, showing a lot of promise with that win last week, but just hurting themselves in addition to Jasper pretty well dominating this football game 2 quarters into it.
Seam routes there.
All right, so the ball is up there, laid out, and almost intercepted there by Tyler Atkins. So Tyler getting the start tonight in that free safety spot. The sophomore almost had a pick there, but couldn't hang on to it. So Central will be forced to punt. So in their possessions, 3 punts and an interception. So the Wildcat defense pretty well dominating.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter. What I've seen from these defensive backs, the way they break on the ball and the confidence that they have right now, it's one of the better defensive backfields we've had in a while.
So Lane Gabbard, number 41, is their punter, and it's be an opportunity for Bear to return, but he actually loses the handle and just needs to go down there and protect that football. So the Wildcats will have it at the 39-yard line. So good field position again for the Wildcats tonight. They've started at the 31, 46, 29, and this time will be at the 39-yard line. And each possession has resulted in a score, so we'll see if the Wildcat offense can continue with this rushing attack.
Yeah, Bear did a nice job of getting on that. When he seen the ball coming up and he looked up, you could see that his eyes went into the bright lights here at Illumini Stadium, and he kind of dropped his head a little bit, and about that time the ball arrived, but he was quick enough to get on it, and even though it went down on the turf, we didn't lose anything.
21-0, Jasper with the football. First possession of the second half. Gives the right side to Sheeter, so Sheeter's able to get to the 43-yard line on that run.
I don't know exactly when it's coming, but I feel the counter coming. The way those linebackers are shooting, especially, they've shown some respect to Wallace. I think he's gained a little bit more as the game has progressed. But when Sheeter's in there, anytime Sheeter dives to that line, I mean, they're just like flies going to, a piece of candy. They're just getting on it.
All right, so Sheeter left this time. Ooh, he took a pop right there. He got about 3 yards into his run, then just got hit hard by number 36, and that's Brody Mueller.
Yeah, he did. He delivered a nice punch, but I tell you what, 36 got up a lot slower than what number 30 did.
That's true. All right, so a 5-yard run, third and 1 from right there. Ball rests at the 48-yard line. Actually, Wallace with the carry this time, so Wallace is able to get into Central territory there. He is doing a nice job filling in for Day tonight, just running north and south and just protecting that football.
One big adjustment it looks like that Central has made during halftime, although the way Wallace just ran on that particular play, it doesn't seem to be working. But if you look at their 3 interior linemen, they used to spread out a little bit. On several of them, they are jumping on each other. Now they're spread again.
There's the counter. And Ewing looking for the outside. It was actually an inside counter, but he kind of got forced to the outside there and eventually brought down by Boberg, but number 54 kind of forced him out that way, and that was Christopher Yaden.
Well, when we pulled around to pick up Boberg, when you're the backside guard or the backside tackle and you're pulling and you come back around, you're just doing essentially a big tight fish hook, and you pick up this guy. But when we came around to do our little hook, Boberg stepped to the right and then stepped around and made contact and did a nice play. So now we're in second and long.
So second down and 9. Ball at the 42-yard line as all ran split to our near side. Grant Young's going to roll to his left, but he sees a lot of green in front of him. There's a good block here by Giesler. So, again, that's the thing with a pass play like that and a quarterback with a quickness like Young. why throw it downfield when you got that much space in front of you and he gets the first down yardage?
Well, you send Albrand and Foley on the same side running the patterns on there, and you know how much attention they get. And that's a perfect example. Help your teammate out. Throw an extra block. You got him an extra 3-4 yards.
All right, they're looking for that pop pass as he tried to get it to Foley. Foley was jumping up and down like, hey, hit me, but I think if he stayed in stride, he might have been able to run underneath that pass, but Grant was a little bit slow getting it to him, and so that play does not work there.
Well, you're exactly right. He was slow getting it out, but the reason he was slow is because their defensive backs came up tight to the line because we're running so strong in between the tackles. And when he seen Foley come out, he seen that he was breaking that last line of defense. Unfortunately, time started to collapse on him.
All right, so here we go with the counter, and boy, it is just stuffed. Somebody did not get a body on big number 78. That's Ryan Pendergraff, 6'7", 285 pounds.
And he is every bit of 6'7", 285 pounds. But that particular one right there, it really wasn't so much that he beat the guy in front of him. They had a slant hard to the right, and we ran that counter right to it. And that counter there, I don't know if it's a different counter or if it just looked the way it did on that play, but it looked like it was much more slow developing.
All right, so Albrand and Cooper are going to be split out to the right side. He's looking for Albrand, but cannot connect him. So Grant missing on a couple pass plays in this drive, and Cats pretty well in 4-down territory, even though it's 4th and long, but still going to go for it here as ball's still right there at the 36-yard line.
When the receivers come out, if they're supposed to do a regular post, let's say they're lined up on the hash mark, they go out 10 yards, and they break toward the goal post. That's what you call a regular post. Now you can go inside, outside, which is skinny or fat. That particular one right there, Albrand's got to take it, and he's got to widen it out a little bit. He came in too much of the safety. They had him covered on both sides.
Oh, so Grant's got some opening there if he can run it, but now he keeps the play alive, and he throws it downfield and connects with Giesler. So, again, that's what a mobile quarterback can do. It kind of makes the defense adjust, but if he keeps his eyes downfield, he can complete that play as he did for the first down.
Although he's still a junior, when he rolled out last year, he would have tucked it and ran, but he gave his team a little bit more time. Something opened up, he's seen it, and he took it. And, you know, he's sharing the wealth. Yeah, he could have maybe not got the first down and pushed him down, you know, go field position battle here. But that was a nice read and a great job by Giesler coming back to the open spot.
So 4th and 14 is now 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the 14-yard line. Young is going to keep it as he gets across the 5-yard line. He had his pitch man right there, but just why give it up when the opening's there? And he's going to be short of a first down, but still, nice run there for 8 yards.
It looked like he was actually reaching down to maybe try to go to the pitch because Young's had success bouncing on each side, and the guys started coming in a little bit tighter, but it didn't look like he had control. So, once again, maturity. He tucks it in, gets what he can.
So Sheeter's back there. See if he can take it to 5 yards. He's not, but I think he will have the first down yardage as number 22 was able to ankle tackle him, and that was Gavin Kelly. So 1st and goal for the Wildcats, unless they're going to measure here. Hold on. Nope, they do call for the first down, so it's going to be 1st and goal from the 3.
You know, the gentleman, number 78, that we were talking about for Central, the 6'7", 285 guy, from this point, you know, maybe for a couple plays, you watch his body language, hands on his hips. He just doesn't seem to be engaged in this game at all right now.
Wallace, did he take it in, or is that Young? No, Young actually did. So Young held on to the football and was able to get to that opening on the right side and takes it in for the 3 yards. So Grant Young with another score tonight. He has scored on a 2-yard run and 1 yard and 3 yards now. So 3 touchdowns for this junior quarterback.
Well, we had three options there. Wallace up the middle, the pitch man. Either one of them was going to walk in. But Young, seen the opening. And if you see the opening, just keep the ball to yourself and don't put it in the air so there's a chance of a turnover. Walked it right in.
And the extra point is perfect. So Leonard does it again, and Jasper up 28-0 here on 18 WJTS. All right, so last time the Wildcats go 61 yards on that drive there. Big play was a 4th and 14, 22-yard hookup to Giesler on the scramble by Young, and on the kickoff, Central will have the football at the 35-yard line. So, again, the Wildcat defense doing the job, 28-0. You'd like to keep your starters out there to get one more shutdown, and then the offense can score again, get to that running clock. But right now with 5:28 to go in the third, Jasper up 28-0, and Central coming back out.
Just like you and I were talking about the Ben Davis-Warren Central game where Ben Davis had over 600 yards in offense and lost. You look down here, you see a big goose egg on the board with Central, and you find out their starting position was the 35, you'd never believe it.
Right. All right, so there's a pass. He threw a nice bullet there, but a little bit too high for number 10 to haul it in. That's Stephen Pritchard. So,
well, I tell you what, big old 58 comes storming through there, Jacob Potts, and he got the ball away, but boy, he sure paid the price. I know his number's 14, but if you look on the shoulder pads, you might see a 58 imprint on it. Man, he hammered him.
All right, so 2nd and 10. 5:24 to go here. Jasper up 28-0 here in the third quarter.
Nowhere.
So the running game just not there for the Central Bears tonight. So Porter Road is actually knocked back for a 2-yard loss there. So the Wildcat defense just dominating on the line of scrimmage, getting in the quarterback's face, and even defensive backs got a pick, and probably should have had 2 so far in this game.
I think that Davies, I think he's going over getting the call. He's coming in. The way Jasper's hitting, he says, coach is telling him, okay, quarterback keep to the outside. He's going in the huddle saying, okay, we're doing a dive to the inside because I want no part of these guys.
All right, so Central's going to split 4 wide receivers this time, and actually there was a little bit of movement, so they do get the screen out there to Road, but chased down quickly as Potts. And I tell you what, just incredible quickness. I mean, find a quicker nose guard in the conference, and I'll be surprised because he is just playing outstanding football this whole football season, and to run him down from behind, that was a great play by Potts. But we got a penalty flag because I think they had some movement before the play.
Potts comes through, and like you said, he had so much speed, so much quickness to get through there. But during his exercising of his energy, he planted his foot because he was like, wait a minute, this was way too easy. There must be a screen going on. And just he's got his body and his mind working together as well as the other 10 guys out there on defense. And that's why Jasper's got a goose egg for Central here late in the third quarter.
So the Cats declined the penalty, so Central will punt again. So I'd like to see number 20, Braylon Bear, get a good return here as he's getting loosened up. Oh, and it's blocked!
Cabrick.
What a play by Cabrick. He got in there, and it looked like it was a low punt, and Cabrick just timed that perfectly, got his hand on it, and knocks it out of bounds right at the 15-yard line is where they're going to spot that, but what a play.
Before the Mater Dei game, if anybody would have set you and I in a different corner and asked us the question, if there was a point of weakness to this team, where would you say it was at? We would have both came up with specialty teams. Mater Dei, they got a block punt. Cabrick just got a block punt here. Their coverage is a lot better. So I don't know who's pulling the strings, tightening up these specialty teams, but boy, you talk about a complete football team in the black and gold right now.
It's actually at the 16-yard line, and Grant Young is actually going to lose yardage on that play as number 34, Isaiah Cooper, was able to get in the backfield.
when you run to the short side of the field, that lane has to open up immediately. If not, it's just string it out and hopefully something opens up. If not, just make the big thing is control the ball, no turnover.
So a 2-yard loss on the play. Second down and 12 at the 18. 3:56 on the clock here in the third quarter. The Cats, if they can score here, can get that 35-point lead as Wallace powers his way across the 15 down to the 13-yard line. And I think we may have a Central player down right now. Oh, no, wait, they're saying a fumble. Yeah, so the Wildcats did lose the football there, so Wallace looked like he was pulling off a nice run as actually it got down to the 12-yard line, but Central will take over the football.
Well, when you seen him come through the line, you seen him turn his hips a little bit. It was almost like, and his back was towards us, so we couldn't see it clearly, but it was almost like he didn't have control of the ball. And I didn't see the ball hit the turf, but evidently it did. At least the Zebra said so that's really all that matters.
Well, the good news is the Wildcat defense has been so dominant that this field position should be a tough situation for Central, and hopefully they can get that football back. It's only a pickup of 2 on that run.
I can't really figure out what they're thinking on their run scheme right now, because they are running a tremendous amount of times into our weak side blitzes. I mean, we've got every hole covered. The one time that they did have what you would call a decent run is when they ran to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know why they're going into the teeth of Jasper. I mean, Jasper's tough enough the way it is, let alone trying to go into the majority of the players.
All right, so there's a pass out there, and again, you can't get pass plays to work if they're not hanging on to the football, and number 5, Pfeiffer's not able to haul that one in.
But why is that? It's because they've been getting hit so many times. I mean, not just hit, I mean pummeled. So he was looking to see what black shirt was going to put his helmet into the turf before he even caught the ball, and that's why he just dropped it.
Right. Actually, I think that was number 6, Casinger, but regardless, another incomplete pass, 3rd and 8 with 3 minutes on the clock, and the clock is stopped right now. Jasper up 28-0. Lost possession of the football with a fumble. That's why Central's got it back right here, and now the Bears, I think, are going to call a timeout. So we'll take a break. Jasper 28, Central 0 here on 18 WJTS. All right, we'll see what the Bears can do on 3rd and 8 here from the 14-yard line. Trailing the Wildcats 28-0, 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
This is usually when they go to the seam route. Nope, deep out.
Airs it out, and he's got a man, and he's just waiting for it to come down right into his hands. So a breakdown in coverage there for the Wildcats as number 6, Jordan Casinger, is able to haul that in for a huge play and a first down all the way to the 38-yard line.
Well, when Atkins went back and was playing that about 7 yards before he caught the ball, Atkins kind of gave up, which leads me to believe that he thought he had help over top. And even if he had the help from the top, which is the deep safety, he wasn't there in time. And fortunately for us, the ball was short, so we had a chance to catch up.
So a 24-yard play there, but nothing there on the running play as Rhodes slips up, and Giesler's right there to clean things up, so no gain on that play.
I don't care who you are. If you cannot put up a nice amount of yards, heck, I'll even go with 80, 85, maybe 90 yards through the game. If you can't put anything up on the run game, you're not going to do anything against this Jasper defense.
Right.
You're just not.
All right, so 2nd down and 10. 2 minutes to go in the quarter now. So I think there's a little confusion on the formation there for the Bears, but now they get the play off, and he chucks it out there again, looking for Casinger, but a little wide on the throw as Cabrick was in on the play.
You know, one thing that the Jasper defensive backs have done extremely well this year, in fact, I would say that even though they've got pick sixes and all that across the board with different players, is their yak yards. You know, after the receiver catches it, how many yards does he get? And we have been so awesome, other than maybe 2 or 3 big plays through this course of this year. They catch the ball, we drop them within 3 yards.
All right, so 4 wide out, split out. Pressure quickly on the quarterback, and that is right there for Bear to pick off, and he could take it all the way. He did it a couple times against Wrights, and nobody there on the sideline. The only person is Foley, and he's able to return that all the way for the touchdown.
Boy, when he caught that ball, he was at top speed at the snap of a finger. But as you alluded to in the pregame, first quarter, second quarter, coming out of halftime, the pressure that Jasper's putting on this guy, he just doesn't want to get hit anymore, so he's just putting it up.
Right. All right, so I'm going to say it was about a 53-yard return if I got that right, but regardless, it is another score on the board and get the extra point here. That'll be the 35-point lead that the Wildcats need to let this clock continue to run through the fourth. So defense comes up with the score this time. Braylon Bear with a pick, taking it 50-plus yards for the touchdown. 35-0 Jasper over Central here on 18 WJTS. 35-0. Jasper gets a defensive score on the board this time. Kickoff. Fielded right there at the 20 and not really anywhere to go, and there's a pop. Number 22 putting the pop there is Cale Schmidt.
Boy, I tell you what, when you hit a guy so hard, it sounds like he's right next to you. That's laying the wood right there.
Absolutely. All right, so Central will have the football at the 24-yard line. Again, they've been working on and off on Sheeter all night. They're actually, I think it might be a hamstring problem, but he's back over here on the training table again as we come to the nearly to the end of the third quarter here. Give it to Roden. Same result. Not much of a gain.
These running backs for Central, I'm really surprised they're not going up to the offensive line and just saying, hey, you see those guys over there in the black jerseys? How about you get them out of my way? But, you know, the black and gold will have none of it. Their defense, especially on the runs, have just been stellar.
It's actually a nice stop by number 82, Carmiel Williams, 6'3", 370-pound junior, playing on the defensive line now for the Cats. They give it to their fullback this time, and in on the stop there, trying to see as he comes off the pile there, but I think it was Williams again making the stop.
But there's 4 guys right there putting a hit on him.
All right, so the third quarter comes to an end. Jasper 35, Central 0 here on 18 WJTS. Football spot at the 32-yard line.
Boy, we're up tight.
Road finds an opening to the outside. Now he sprints there, so he's able to get across midfield. So his best run of the night comes to open the fourth quarter. And he picks up 20 on that run.
Well, that was a lot of speed there, but Cabrick showed the type of speed he has because there was no chance of him, you know, breaking past Cabrick. Cabrick had it all locked down, but that particular run right there, I don't know exactly what the stats are, but they've had to have very low rushing. So if they can get some runs like that against some of the newer players, they may be able to make their stats look pretty decent by the end of the evening.
Again, we've got a running clock going right now. So try the left side this time, and Schmidt, number 22, makes the stop.
Rode on the carry for Central again. Number 22, Schmidt. Cale Schmidt on the tackle for Jasper.
See if we can be stout up front and get them back into a third and long.
Cole Trevino now in that middle spot that Potts normally occupies, but number 32 is able to rush the football. That's Luke Kemper.
Picked up another Central first down.
So he rushes that football to the 36-yard line, so a 1st and 10 for Central there.
You know, even though we had the running clock, we're up 35-0. There's still a lot of pride in this defense, and they want to keep that goose egg up on the board.
Given a left side. Again, Williams in on the stop there as he's able to rush the football to the 32-yard line. So a pickup of 4 for number 32. Again, carrying the football, Luke Kemper.
Number 32, Kemper on the carry for Central. Number 82, Williams on the tackle for Jasper.
So the Wildcats have made some changes on that defensive front. Central trying to take advantage of it. It's number 7 now is carrying the football, Aaron Garris, who actually had, I believe the other night, he had that 2-point conversion. That's what Central did in that Wrights game. Wrights had scored a touchdown in their possession at 3rd overtime. And then Central scored on a pass play to Luke Pokerney. Then they were able to get the 2-point conversion to win that football game. They went for 2 instead of kicking the extra point. So 3rd and 5. Pitch out on the power play to the right side, and he's got some running room. He's going to get that 1st down yardage, so it's a nice run there by Jordan Cassinger.
You know, when you bring players, when the game's like this, it's out of reach, running clock, and you bring some of the younger guys out who's very capable. I mean, Holsworth came in and just put a slam on the running back in the play previous. But they're starting to figure out exactly, you know, what the blocking scheme of Central is, and that's why Central's having a little bit of success, because our newer guys have to figure out what the scheme is.
He got an eye backfield there, and he gives it to the left side, and he's able to reverse field and cut across, pick up even more yardage. So Aaron Garris with another nice run there, and they'll move the sticks again on that 11-yard run.
Yeah, it seems that Central Bears their running backs are running a little bit harder. You know, it's kind of hard to tell when you get this late, but they're able to get a little bit of steam going, and they've got some strength, and they've got some good stop-start speed.
So give it to the fullback, and Williams is going to be dragged by number 32. So Kemper with another carry there, picks up about 3. So Central trying to get on the board here against the Wildcat reserves. Jasper leads 35-0 with the running clock, 7:18, 7:16 now. Seven gets it on the right side, and he's going to be able to scamper the 10 yards needed for the touchdown. So Central uses their running attack, and they're able to go 10 yards for the touchdown run.
You know, nice. Good for them to get the score, but you see them jumping up and bumping on each other, and I know they're young, but it's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way when you see players jumping up and congratulating each other, and then you look up at the scoreboard, and it's like, you know you're getting killed, right?
All right, so Stephen Pritchett pops it right through for the extra point. So Jasper 35, Central 7. 6:24 to go here in the football game here on 18 WJTS. All right, so the Jasper Wildcats setting up for an onside kick here as Central gets their first score on the board, 35-7, 6:24 to go. It'll be a running clock once things get going again. For the Wildcats hands team, right up front is Connor Foley. You see Wallace out there.
Boy, this is such a good thing for Jasper to have to do.
Give you a chance to kind of work on it, but no, they actually kick it away. So the Cats can get a return here, fielded right there at the 10-yard line, straight up the field. He's got an opening, and he's able to return it to the 35-yard line. So that was Bear who was able to get a handle on that football. So not a bad return considering he had really no blocking up front.
Bear runs with a little bit of attitude, as we have witnessed on his pick sixes. But, you know, Jasper's got so much in this game. You know, they've got a block punt. They've got a pick six. You know, how many times in a row did they run the ball and we tackle them for losses? This has just really been impressive tonight. I know Central's down a little bit, but not that much. They've got some good players out there.
So the sophomore quarterback, Holsworth, out there, and he gets a nice run across the 50. So he's going to rush that football all the way to the 48-yard line. So pickup of 16 yards.
Bringing in some of the guys that haven't played much tonight. When you're looking just at the quarterback position with Holsworth and Young and Winesapple, I mean, they're really kind of interchangeable. They're all good athletes. They all got good stop-start speed, and their eyes are always up, and they've been making great reads, just like that one.
Gives it to the fullbacks. First man through, rushes down to the 40-yard line, so a nice pickup of 8 yards there. Slow to get off the pile, but that looks like that was number 25, Landon Fleck, who we've seen him with some nice runs whenever he gets the opportunity this year.
But once again, as we've alluded to in all the games this year, the guys are running decisive. They just put their head down and they go. They don't try to dance, they just bring it.
So Mitchell Leinebach is split out to our near side. Fleck with another carry there, gets the first down yardage needed, so a 6-yard pickup. Wildcats moving right along, trying to get that score back.
You know, I've been trying to figure out all year, you know, the success that Jasper's having. Do you know, it's a really good thing when those big, red sticks over there, we're pretty good at keeping those moving down the field.
No doubt. Quarterback keeps it. He pitches out. And running the football, number 12, Reese Egbert. And he is knocked down just shy of the 30-yard line. About the 31, maybe a gain of 1 on the play.
Egbert did an excellent job of catching that ball and bringing it down because he had heat coming to him as soon as his hands were about ready to hit the ball. But number one thing you're taught on a pitch or a catch, look the ball in. And he did a nice job on that one.
Holsworth gives it to Fleck on the left side this time. Gets across the 30. It's going to be close to the first down yardage depending on where they spot the football. They're going to have it right there at the 26-yard line. Needs to get maybe about another half yard or so. I think he's going to be short here. So a third down situation for the Cats.
Unless you go by the stick over there where it says first down.
That's true. They still have first down, but it's third.
Should be a flag on that one, yeah.
All right, so we got movement on the Wildcats here. No, actually, defensive offsides.
That's strange because you and I have seen on several games to where guys have jumped actually offsides, now no contact, and they go back and they haven't thrown the flag. But last year it seemed like anytime they broke that plane, even though there wasn't contact, they were throwing flags left and right.
I know.
That is one of the few times I've seen somebody jump the line this year without making contact that they threw the flag.
Right. All right, so the Wildcats now 1st and 10 from the 21. Fleck with another carry straight up.
What a nice job of hitting that hole, planting your foot and getting up in there. And then he got hit on the right side, and as a running back, you're taught to spin away. Ended up picking up an extra couple of tough yards on that.
So Landon Fleck, the 5'6", 140-pound sophomore, getting some work here. He's got 4 carries on this drive. And this time Holsworth keeps it, and he's dives his way forward. See if he's close to that first down marker. No, actually he's going to be right there at the 13-yard line. He's got to get to the 11, so a 3rd and 2.
You know, you were talking about Fleck being 140 pounds. I mean, he doesn't, when you compare him to Sheeter, you know, it's night and day. But, boy, he sure doesn't run like a person that weighs 140 pounds. He runs with a little attitude. Actually got him in an up stance now.
Yeah, I think this is just a situation where the Cats are just trying to run the clock. We're inside of a minute now. Play clock at 4, and
oh, there you go.
Ellsworth takes the knee right there, and once they reset that clock at 40 seconds, Cats will just have to take one more knee, and we're pretty well done with this football game. So
I really appreciate the fact, as compared to the earlier part of this season, that once this game's over, if home is our destination, we can get there rather quickly.
Holsworth downs it, and Jasper's going to walk away with a 35-7 win over the Central Bears and improve to 6-0 on the season. So the Wildcats led 21-0 at halftime, and then had a 61-yard drive in their first possession of the 3rd quarter, finished off with a Grant Young 3-yard touchdown run to make it 28-0. And then a 53-yard interception return by Braylon Bear made it 35-0. That's when we saw a running clock. Central did score on their final possession to make it 35-7, but you know, just pretty well from the start. Jasper just pretty well took control of the line of scrimmage offensively, defensively. You know, again, the young quarterback, Ben Davies, the freshman, just really had no opportunity to do much in this football game and put any hurt on the Wildcats. So
yeah, they I tell you what, I seen Coach Rolleder up here during several of the defensive possessions. He's out there smiling. You know, if Coach Rolleder's smiling, things are going well for the defense.
Absolutely.
He is a stickler for, you know, doing the right thing and to get as close to perfect as you can. But look at the Jasper team. We talked about pregame consistency. Doesn't matter. Wallace came in. You know, we had some new shirts in there. Holsworth came in. You know, Fleck came in. You know, got different guys on the offensive line. It didn't matter. Same game plan, same execution. Yeah, these younger guys don't have the size as some of these older guys because they haven't had the experience in the weight room that these older guys have. But it doesn't matter. They're all playing decisive. They're all playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're playing Jasper football as we all love to see.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, coming into this football game, kind of what you expected, you know, as far as, you know, a Central team that's young. Central team coming off an emotional win last week, but again, still can't change the fact that you're starting a freshman quarterback. And, you know, again, it was just one of those situations where the Wildcats just had to get in the backfield and force his hand. And, you know, it was just, not going to say way too easy, but, you know, again, you got your game plan, you executed it, and it resulted in a 35-7 win.
Well, with the competition that Jasper plays, you know, let's go all the way back to the beginning of the season. With Memorial. You talk about the freshman quarterback, they also have a first-year head coach. What Hurley would have done is everything would have been out in the flats. Everything, as soon as it touched his hand, 1-2, boom, ball's gone. 1-2, boom, ball's gone. Because the Jasper defensive front, even though there were white shirts in front of them, they really didn't have much opposition in front of them. They took them to the woodshed, took their spirit early, and just set the tone for the rest of the game.
All right, well, one thing coming out of this football game is how much work they were doing physically with Ashton Sheeter, but he is actually down there on the track, and, you know, he's standing up, and he walked off the football field. You know, obviously you're not going to put him back in once you get a dominant lead at this particular point, but, you know, again, we're going to need every bit of him offensively and defensively. We really didn't see him on the defensive side of the ball much tonight. I think because of all the work they were doing with him. But, you know, again, the Wildcats, a huge game next week going against the Castle Knights, and I think that's really going to set the stage for whether they can finish this conference undefeated and actually pull off a conference championship.
Well, the one thing about Castle, when they come in, being that they're a larger school, they're 5A, and they've been in the top 15. Sometimes they break the top 10, then they fall back out. But when they bring in subs, somebody gets hurt, the quality that comes in is a lot better than some of these smaller schools like Mater Dei. You lose a senior, you're bringing in an inexperienced sophomore. You can bring in juniors, seniors with Castle. They go all the way up. But it does set the tone for if Jasper's going to walk away with this SIAC. Because let's be honest, we have North at home, and North's not bad after the Castle game. So if we can get Castle, and then we go to Vincennes, and by all rights, that should be a drubbing.
Right.
Unless we come in complacent or whatever. Vincennes will fight. I just don't know that they have the capability of putting up the type of fight that they need. So next week is played out to be the biggest game of the year, no doubt. And Jasper can pretty well sew up the SIAC with that, barring injuries, different things like that. I think some of the things you see with Day and Wines Apple, a lot of that's been precautionary because you don't have to fight to get into the postseason anymore like it was back in our day. So I was very pleased with Jasper and their attitude, not coming out complacent. Came out against Harrison, came out against Bosse after big wins the week before, gave up big plays early before they turned on the switch and dominated. So very pleased with Jasper, and very pleased to say that my father, Herb Welp, turned 90 years
90
yesterday.
years, wow.
And I'm not going to do that 90 years young thing. I mean, he's 90 years old, and I really appreciate everything he's taught me over the years. And, I could have done a lot worse than having somebody else be my father. I mean, he's been great. 90 years. I really appreciate it, Pop.
Absolutely. Well, happy birthday to your father there. All right, so Jasper wins it 35-7, improves to 6-0 on the season. Central drops to 1-4, and again, setting up that big showdown next week right here on this football field, Joe Roller Field at Jerry Brewer Alumni Stadium, where the Castle Knights will be coming in. That'll be a 7:30 kickoff next Friday night. So for Bob Welp and Jeremy Marcos on the video, this is Craig Schneider and Wildcat Football here on 18 WJTS. Good night.